Hello interwebs, my name is Zach, and I'm here from Razzle to discuss Pitch Perfect 2. Pitch Perfect 2 is directed by Elizabeth Banks, stars Anna Kendrick, Rebel Wilson, and Haley Steinfeld, as long as a cast of other characters. I'm going to start off on the bat by saying that Pitch Perfect 1 really surprised me. I really enjoyed Pitch Perfect 1. I thought it was really funny. I enjoyed all the musical numbers, and I thought the characters combined really well with each other. I was really worried about this movie going into Pitch Perfect 2 because I wasn't sure how Elizabeth Banks was going to direct the film. I was sort of worried about the direction it was going to go in. I was worried about the characters we were going to explore. And getting to the theater and watching the movie, I was really pleasantly surprised. I thought the characters really grew well from the other film. I thought Anna Kendrick's character really displayed a level of depth that she didn't display much in the first film, and by the end of the second movie, I thought her character had certainly grown. I thought Rebel Wilson's character, which I don't usually say this about characters that Rebel Wilson plays, but had a lot of depth to her as well. She really brought something to the screen that she didn't bring in the last movie. I also thought that the normal cast of characters from the first movie, albeit mostly stereotypes that the directors of the first movie wanted to lay out and sort of play off of, were really good in the second one, all except for one character played by Chrissy Fit. The character played by Chrissy Fit, in my opinion, didn't work too well with the movie. Now, without going into spoilers, I'm going to say that the character and the stereotype that Chrissy Fit plays throughout Pitch Perfect 2 really doesn't bring anything to help the movie at all. She really is just there to throw one-liners out, and most of the time the one-liners don't hit, and I think that's the issue. I think if the one-liners would have hit, and if they would have been, frankly, in good taste, then they would have been done properly. But I feel like Chrissy Fit's character just could have been taken out of the movie entirely, and actually made the movie a better movie. If characters are going to be added, I feel like they should add something to the movie. Now, speaking about added characters, Haley Steinfeld's character was fantastic, at least in my opinion, throughout the entire movie. Haley Steinfeld, we all know from True Grit. She really does well in this movie. I mean, of course, it's not the level of acting that she's brought from other parts, but that's because, I don't know, this was a comedy where she really didn't need to show her depth. Haley Steinfeld, while being good, not really the best, did bring a certain young feel to this movie that is about college kids. I know that sounds weird, but once you see it, you'll understand what I mean. I think something Elizabeth Banks and the cast of writers did really well was make the characters grow and fit in with each other. I really thought that these characters and these actresses and actors at times were friends and did really know each other very well. And it really made the whole Bella's being a sisterhood thing work very, very well. Other things that I thought this movie did really well was bring cameos into the movie. Now, in the trailers, I'll admit I thought that the Green Bay Packers coming in was going to be kind of lame and kind of stupid and wouldn't be done properly, but the way that they did it was so cool. Another individual that's in this movie is Keegan-Michael Key. Everyone knows him from his Comedy Central show, Key and Peele. He is fantastic in this movie, and in my opinion, maybe even the best part of the movie. He brings some aspects of humor into the movie that weren't there from the first movie, and weren't there much in the second movie, but he just nails it. Another thing that I thought this movie did really well was visual humor. The visual humor in this movie, at times, was fantastic. Individuals who just gave the right look at the right time, or things falling, sort of slapstick even at times. And I think Rebel Wilson did really well at that, which is what her character does sometimes throughout the film, and I really enjoyed. The musical numbers were great. I really think Elizabeth Banks has found her forte in directing music numbers. I was blown away at times by the singing, by the dancing, and by the overall choreography, the way the dance scenes were directed. I think it takes a certain director to be able to direct a dance scene properly. It's sort of like directing an action sequence. And I really, really enjoyed it. Now, a few of the negatives I didn't like with the film were that key story points, or points in the narrative that should have been explained in other ways, were explained in sort of sloppy filmmaking shortcuts. This is something I really disliked. Like, if they would show a key story point by panning over a picture or looking at someone's cell phone to explain that sort of detail, and I just really didn't like the way it created this story and set up the rest of the movie in the beginning of the sequel. Other things that I didn't like was that a lot of the jokes missed. Now, I understand that a comedy, not all jokes are going to hit, but you'd expect the majority of the jokes to hit, and I would say that for this movie, at least in the first 20 minutes, not many of the jokes hit, and that's kind of that was very upsetting for me. So I was watching the movie, and I kind of thought, is it gonna get funny? And it did. It got funny. It got funny. It got heartwarming. It got everything that the first movie had, by the end, but at the beginning it just really wasn't there, and I was so worried sitting in my seat thinking, I don't know if it's going to get to that point. Overall, Pitch Perfect 2 is a very good sequel. It brought me back into the world I came to love and helped me learn more about the characters that I liked from the first movie. While this movie has a lot of flaws, it also has a lot going for it. So I would give this movie a 6 out of 10. Thanks for watching, guys, and make sure to check out a lot more of our movie reviews. There's a Mad Max movie review out that Ryan did the other day, so make sure to check that video out. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'm Zach Maurer. You guys have a great day.